Hi, everyone. My name is Dr. Jamie Stanhiser with Reproductive Partners Fertility Center, and I'm so delighted today to co-host this event on wellness and mental health and fertility. And I'd love for my co-host to introduce herself, and after that, I'll give a little presentation on wellness and fertility, and we'll go from there.
Thanks, Dr. Stanhiser, for having me. My name is Emily Silva Hockstra. I am a spiritual life coach and an author of 5 books, and I myself have dealt with infertility. So this whole topic is very near and dear to my heart on how to calm your body while your mind and body are saying different things.
Wonderful. I'm so blessed to have you join us. For those who don't know, you are also a co-host, a co-founder, right? A co-chair for the San Diego Walk of Hope with the Resolve organization. And that's how we first met.
Yes,
And your
yes.
books are just beautiful. I love recommending them to my patients. So thank you for joining me today. I'm going to share my screen because I have a little presentation I'd love to go through. Let me see here how to do that. Share. All right. Hopefully, can you see that there? Share successful?
Yes.
Very good. Okay. So we're going to talk today and really focus again on mental health and fertility. And I want us to really dive deep into how we can cultivate inner peace by grounding ourselves in the present moment. So we all expect when we're trying to get pregnant that this is going to be a joyful time, a time in our lives of fulfillment and all of our dreams coming true. And when that doesn't happen for us, when there's a big mismatch between our hopes and expectations and then the reality that we experience, I think that's when suffering can be the most profound. And certainly for everyone I've spoken to and in my clinical experience, trying to conceive is often experienced for women as actually being very stressful. And every month not pregnant can be felt as devastating. And that's for women who are just beginning to try to get pregnant. I think in our modern time, we're delaying pregnancy, of course, to pursue education and career and a wonderful partnership, and to be financially secure. And so by the time we decide for ourselves, I'm ready to get pregnant, really we would like to be pregnant that moment, that because we've waited for it for so long. And when we aren't pregnant that moment and we aren't pregnant the next month or the next month, it truly is felt as devastating. Um, the psychological impact of experiencing true infertility or recurrent pregnancy loss cannot be overstated. Infertility and recurrent pregnancy loss are often the most devastating thing we've ever experienced. We have studies that show that that's equally as stressful as getting a cancer diagnosis or having a heart attack, and so as threatening to us as experiencing our life, on the line. Um, that's how people experience infertility and recurrent pregnancy loss. Um, these conditions can often trigger feelings of powerlessness, especially for us as women, feelings of defectiveness, feelings of shame and fear and isolation and the grief that comes with all of that. Because so many of our hopes and dreams are on the line, that this is something we've always wanted for many women, that we envision our future to be us as mothers with our children. When that's not happening for us, it often challenges our sense of self-worth, our whole identity. Who am I? All it brings up so many of these feelings for us. Um, when we are met with infertility and recurrent pregnancy loss and then have to face the journey of that treatment, it's not just physical, it's deeply emotional. It's oftentimes our first experience with truly being out of control in our lives. We can't control the timelines, the procedures that may be necessary, and very often the outcome of a cycle is out of our control. And that feeling, again, of powerlessness is really hard. I think it's one of the hardest human feelings that we can experience. There's also so much uncertainty and waiting. There's these cycles of hope and then disappointment that can just feel never ending. Like this is where we're going to be for into perpetuity. Um, there's an emotional roller coaster throughout the whole thing, and then per cycle, these huge highs of hope of this is going to be it, and then maybe you get the positive pregnancy test and it's rising healthy, but then an early miscarriage. So there are these big highs and then big devastating lows in the journey, often for many people. And then on top of that, this feeling of isolation, that you're facing this on your own. You know, you're seeing your friends or family getting pregnant and having babies. I think we're doing better as a society of talking about infertility and destigmatizing it, but there is, because of this feeling of shame that we all have, it can feel like we're alone in this. And I think a really important first step is acknowledging these feelings. And we're going to focus on that today. A big part, I think, of wellness in infertility and recurrent pregnancy loss is acknowledging how hard it is, accepting it, and then deciding where do we go from here. Um, I am a big believer in turning challenges into invitations to come back home to ourselves. Challenges bring awareness. They give us meaning and purpose. Actually, they remind us of our values, of what we really want, and they really can be an inspiration for deeper healing, not just to get us through the fertility journey, but also deeper healing that will benefit us in our whole lives, and especially as parents. So it's so important to me to tell my patients that your parenting journey, your motherhood journey, has already begun long before you get pregnant, and you're on it right now. This is part of it, and it's part of what's going to get you to a brighter, better future. Um, I want us to reimagine the fertility journey as a path back home to yourself in that way, to remember your sovereignty and your agency in your life, to have it be an invitation to reconnect with your body and your spirit and have it be a journey to wholeness in that way. One of my favorite books is by Viktor Frankl. It's called Man's Search for Meaning. And I love the quote, "Between the stimulus and the response, there is a space. In that space is our power to choose our response. In our response lies our growth and our freedom." And I think facing infertility and recurrent pregnancy loss is one of those moments where we're getting the stimulus of all of the suffering and hardship, and I want to validate that, how hard it is, and not take away from that. It can be horribly hard, and we need to accept that and process that first and give empathy and validate it. And we then can decide, how am I going to respond to that? And being able in this journey to shift our focus to the power in our response, in our daily life choices, I think is so powerful. One of the things I would love for each of us, wherever we are in our life journey, is to reclaim our own story, to remind yourself you are the hero of your own life. I think the suffering of infertility and recurrent pregnancy loss can be a clarion call to take charge of your healing and life experience. I think as women, it can be not until later in life, certainly for myself, I can say this, where we really pause and say, what do I want? How do I want to feel? What do I want my journey to mean and to be? And again, the suffering of infertility and recurrent pregnancy loss can really be a wake-up call to ask ourselves those questions, maybe for the first time. Another quote I really love from another spiritual teacher actually is by Thich Nhat Hanh, and he says, "Life is filled with suffering, but it is also filled with many wonders, like the blue sky, the sunshine. To suffer is not enough." I love that so much. To suffer is not enough. We must also be in touch with the wonders of life. They are within us and all around us, everywhere, anytime. So we're going to talk more about, so how do we cultivate resilience on the fertility journey? And two practices I'd love to discuss with you today are the practices of rain and self-compassion. So one of the teachers that's brought rain really to the Western world is Tara Brach. And rain is from her book called Radical Compassion. She also has another book that's wonderful called Radical Acceptance, and I recommend both of those books. But so the practice of rain is really grounded in awareness and stillness. Um, and all of this is mindfulness. So the R of rain is to recognize what is going on. So what am I feeling? Name your feeling. Perhaps it's sad. I'm feeling sad. Um, and then just to allow the experience to be just as it is. And you can, instead of allow, you can also put acceptance. But one of the practices I really like is if, well, after you have recognized I'm feeling sadness, I love to envision a park bench. And I'm sitting on the park bench and I pat the bench next to me and I say, come sit with me, sadness. Come sit with me on this bench and be my friend. And accepting that sadness is my friend right now. Um, Acceptance is really powerful. It allows us to go into the next steps. So once sadness is sitting next to you on the bench, then you can investigate it. That's the eye of rain with interest and care. Um, of course, why am I sad? Where is this stemming from? What bigger things is this bringing up from me? What vulnerabilities or fears or shame is this bringing up for me? And to do it with care. And then the final step of rain is to nurture it with self-compassion. And so I want to talk about self-compassion now. So Kristen Neff is one of the big advocates for self-compassion, and she has a wonderful book entitled Self-Compassion, which I recommend as well. But so she says, and she's a researcher and academic, and she says that self-compassion really has three main components. The first is mindfulness. And I think mindfulness is the greatest skill that we can learn as humans to get us through life and through especially moments of suffering. It's the number one skill I recommend for the suffering of infertility and recurrent pregnancy loss. So mindfulness is simply being grounded, really grounded in the present moment. It's becoming aware of your senses. So coming home to your body in that way, noticing the light coming through the window. One of the ways I practice mindfulness, I mean, it's in the smallest things. I notice the water coming out of the water dispenser at work, you know, at the drinking fountain, essentially, and just the wonder of how gorgeous the little water is. That we take this for granted, but it's a beautiful miracle. We can practice mindfulness washing the dishes. We can practice mindfulness. By coming home to our bodies, how do I feel in this moment? I practice mindfulness by looking at the wind in the leaves of the trees outside. You can practice mindfulness everywhere. It's always available to you. And it's simply being very conscious and awake in the present moment. Another part of self-compassion is self-kindness. Be gentle with yourself. When we are going through a hard time, we deserve more love, not less. And I hope you remember that. And then the final part of self-compassion is common humanity, remembering that all humans suffer. You are not alone. This is not your fault. And reconnecting with all of us is part of self-compassion. This next slide, I am so incredibly passionate about this. Joy practices. I want every woman to incorporate joy practices throughout your daily life. We should be taught this from little kids. So suffering and joy coexist. That's so important. I think sometimes we think, oh, our suffering is so great. It like dishonors it to have joy in the midst of the suffering, but it's actually the opposite. We need joy the most when we are suffering. I want you to ask yourself, how can I infuse joy into my day? So these are personal answers. I've listed some of my favorite joy practices, but I want you to ask yourself, how can I infuse joy into my day, even during my greatest suffering? Even on the worst day, what is a small thing I can do to experience joy? What can I do in this moment to bolster my soul, to help me carry my suffering? Because that's really what resilience is the ability to keep going. So the number one thing I recommend as a daily joy practice is walking in nature. This is so good for your wellness, for your emotional and psychological well-being. It's such a great mindfulness practice. I also recommend exercise. So whatever type of exercise that feels good to your body, moving moving your body helps you come home to your body and really grounds you in wellness. Of course, restful sleep. Also, being creative in your daily life. And this doesn't have to be like the stereotypical creativity. I never identified as a creative person growing up. I thought that that wasn't for me. But now as I get older, I see we are all creative beings and we can express our creativity in so many different ways. I think it's so important to learn something new every single day. Really, all of these things, if you notice, they are shifting our focus. So we can be present to the suffering, but we can also choose. Again, it's that stimuli and then our response. We can choose to shift our focus to things that make us feel alive. So learning something new, being creative really helps with that. I strongly recommend making music. So for me, that's learning an instrument. I practice piano nearly every day. I'm learning guitar right now. But whatever it may be for you, if it's singing, if it's making music with dancing, if music is very healing, very grounding for us. Journaling is so good. Reading, so that can be part of learning something new every day. And another joy practice I love is creating rituals in your daily life. And I've put with water and fire. So what I mean with that is perhaps for you it's a shower. For me, it's actually baths. Being submerged in water is so grounding for our nervous system. Fire, you can light a fire, you can have candles lit nearby. Some people have rituals with like their cup of tea and they really are mindful in that moment, sipping the tea, seeing the steam rise from the cup. Imbuing these small things in your day as a ritual is very nourishing to your spirit and is a very doable joy practice. I want these things to be things you can actually do, many of these throughout your day. So as I get close to concluding and giving it over to Emily, these are my top 3 wellness techniques for fertility. The first one is centering on your breath. Just feeling a deep breath in and a slow breath out. You can do that anywhere. You can do that at every time of day that you're feeling anything. This is a type of meditation. It is mindfulness, and your breath is with you always, so you can always come home to it. I want you again to practice being aware of simple, small wonders around you every moment of every day. There's so many opportunities. So I will be practicing this with you. It's not about being perfect. It's just about bringing consciousness and awareness to ways you can make your day magical as you go through it. And one of my favorite, you can also do this anywhere. You can do this at a stoplight with eyes open though, but for right now, I'm going to do it with eyes closed if you're in your office or home, wherever you are. I call it my heart, body, hand mantra. So I put a hand on my heart, and if you do this with me, I'd love it. And I put a hand on my belly here, and then I close my eyes and I say, I love my body as I focus on my breath. And my body loves me. I trust my body. And my body trusts me. I am home. I am safe. I am good. I am sovereign here. And you can choose whatever words feel home to you. You can do just a hand on your heart or a hand on your stomach, but your breath will bring you home. Another so important piece to maintaining wellness and building resilience on this journey is to consciously cultivate connection and create a community of support. So, developing friendships and family connections, joining support groups, coming to events like the one that Emily co-chaired, the San Diego Walk of Hope. Connecting with a therapist that specializes in your experience. So we have specific fertility therapists and recurrent pregnancy loss therapists that we recommend. And then also attending wellness classes like this, for example, are ways to build community and feel connection in your daily life. And then reading wonderful books. To me, this is a daily joy practice. I love that Emily combines learning something new with mindfulness, with self-compassion. In her books are just beautiful, as you can see by the covers, but also by the words within. They are very healing. They are called of how to have peace and equanimity. It's also, I think, so powerful, Emily, that, I'll let you take over at this point, but from your own lived experience, I think it comes through the pages that when you're reading it, you know that you're not alone. Thank you so much for joining me today. I'll just say thank you and hand it over to you.
Thank you. Those were beautiful practices, and I love everything that you shared. I wanted to help listeners calm their bodies with something called Yoga Nidra. And Yoga Nidra can be done anywhere, including your bed. Basically, what you want to do is you want to create a nest for yourself. So I'm going to give you some time to find wherever it is that you want to do this. It can be on a yoga mat, it can be on your favorite chair. If you're in bed, you can do it in bed. If you are laying down, please place a bolster or pillow underneath your knees to support your lower back, because we do take about 15 minutes to do this practice. And what this practice will do is it's going to take you through various brain wave experience. So you'll go into in and out of deep rest to help you really release stress. And this is something that when you have moments of very high stress, or maybe you're waiting for results, this would be a really lovely practice to practice compassion with yourself, but also slowing down. So I'm going to turn off my camera so there's no distractions here, but I'm just going to take you through a guided meditation. So take some time to make your way into a comfortable position, with an option to cover your eyes with maybe an eye mask or a scarf to block out any light to further your relaxation. Perhaps cover yourself with a blanket, creating a nurturing nest to take care of yourself throughout this practice. Allow yourself to fully sink into whatever you're lying or sitting on, sinking into the comfort of being held. Taking a deep breath in and a deep breath out. Start to scan your physical body, making any slight adjustments where needed. And as you continue to breathe, become aware of your senses. Notice the darkness behind your eyelids. Pay attention to any noises you may hear nearby or far away. And as you listen, allow them to just be background noise, moving your attention deeper and deeper into relaxation. Begin to take some nice, full, deep breaths in through the nose and out through the mouth. noticing the rise and fall of your belly and chest. And as you continue to breathe, notice if your energy is being pulled away and draw it back in, grounding yourself to this moment, to your practice, allowing yourself to fully relax with each breath. There's nowhere you need to go or anything you need to do. You are exactly where you need to be, right here, right now. Bring your attention to your heart center, the energy in the center of your chest. Feel your heartbeat as you begin to set an intention for your practice. Think of it as a seed for how you would like to feel, or an energy you would like to welcome into your life. Today's mantra is, I invite calm into my life, even though life feels uncertain. Repeat this to yourself silently 3 times. I invite calm into my life, even though life feels uncertain. Notice how you feel as you repeat this phrase, feeling it throughout your entire body. Begin to sense the subtle energy within your body, allowing the sound of my voice to support and guide you. And as I name each focal point, imagine a beautiful warm light washing over you. A beautiful warm light washing over the center of your forehead. Right eye, left eye, right cheek, left cheek, mouth. A beautiful warm light washing over the chin. Center of throat. Right shoulder. Right elbow. Right wrist. Back of the right hand. Palm of the right hand. A beautiful warm light washing over the entire right hand. The whole right arm. Center of chest. Left shoulder. Left elbow. Left wrist. Back of the left hand. Palm of the left hand. A beautiful warm light washing over the entire left hand. The whole left arm. Center of chest. A beautiful warm light washing over the belly. Hips. Right hip. Right knee. Right ankle. Top of the right foot. bottom of the right foot, the whole right foot. A beautiful warm light washing up and down the whole right leg. Hips, left hip, left knee, left ankle, top of the left foot, bottom of the left foot, the whole left foot. A beautiful warm light washing up and down the whole left leg. Hip center, belly, center of chest, center of throat. A beautiful warm light washing over the whole right side. A beautiful warm light washing over the entire left side. Center of throat. Center of forehead. A beautiful warm light washing over the entire body. Breathe in this light energy into the entire body, becoming aware of the body breathing. Imagine the breath breathing only through your right nostril. Begin breathing up and through your right nostril. Pause and switch sides. Begin breathing up and through your left nostril, imagining the breath flowing up and through on the left side. Release and breathe through both sides, feeling the flow of the breath coursing through your body, feeling your whole body breathing in and out. Now imagine you're in a room with a stained glass window. And the stained glass casts a rainbow across the wall. And as the sun lowers, the rainbow makes its way down the wall. Each color is only a fragment of the entire window, and it creates a lovely dance of hues. Notice the light playing with color on the wall. Our lives are made of fragments. Some parts are broken, and others are glimmering lights. If we take a step back, we see that we contain a rainbow within, a multitude of colors and shades, full of raw radiance. Embrace the fragments as they are just pieces of an entire life. Breathe in this moment of tranquility. Releasing this visualization knowing that you can always relax your mind and body with your breath, and bringing awareness to your heart center once more, perhaps placing both hands over the heart, feeling the breath fill your lungs as you take a nice deep breath in, bringing your attention back to your heart, repeating it once more 3 times slowly. I invite calm into my life, even though life feels uncertain. Feel your whole body sinking into the mat, the bed, or the chair, completely supported and fully nourished. Offer yourself gratitude for taking this time to nurture your mind, body, and spirit. Gently taking your time to come back to the space, noticing your energy as you begin to move your fingers and toes slowly and with intention, deepening your breath as you allow your body to slowly reawaken.
I had my eyes closed, so I didn't see you turn your video back on. That was so beautiful. Um, I feel so much more centered and calm and peaceful in my body. Thank you so much. Um, so how can people find you so that I can have more of my patients reach out to you for your books or for a session?
Soulsadventures.com, SOULS, and then the word adventures. I'm on Instagram at Souls Adventures, but also my name's so unique, Emily Silva Hockstra. If you look that up, you'll find me.
That's how I found the picture of you with your books, which was so beautiful.
Thank
Um,
you.
Yeah, and thank you everyone for joining us today. We also both want to invite you to the Walk of Hope for next year. It really is such a wonderful way to connect with people going through or having experienced before what you're going through. And it's a great way to build community. Um, Thank you so much, Emily, for joining me today. And as we close, I just want to empower each of us to think about what we're going to do with our response when things do happen in our day. Where can we put our focus? How can we use these challenges and re-envision them as an invitation to come home to ourselves and create that stillness and safety and power within to know we're going to be okay no matter what. So thank you all so much. And again, I'm Dr. Stanhiser, and me and Emily both are here for you and wish you all the best on your fertility journey.
Thank you.
Thank you.